watching the SEC on ESPN. Our triple header of women's hoops starts here in Columbia, South Carolina, with the #1 team in the nation. South Carolina is undefeated. They have won 48 straight home games, and they welcome in Mississippi State today for their second conference battle of the season. Let's go. We're excited to be with you, Courtney Lyle, alongside the Hall of Famer Carolyn Pack. And Pack, is this the best South Carolina team we've ever seen?
Look, when you look at South Carolina's programs, they have been built on defense and post play. Well, you know what they have now? A three-point threat. So I think this could be Dawn's best team.
Look, one of those big three-point threats, when they need a bang-bang, they go to pow-pow.
And Te-Hina pow-pow has been exactly what the doctor ordered. She stretches the offense out, and his ability to knock down that three-point shot, it opens up for the post play inside. She also will push it in transition. But you know the best thing that she brings to South Carolina too is she's a calmness with her leadership on the floor.
Second in the nation in three-point percentage is Te-Hina pow-pow. Meanwhile, on the other side of the floor for Mississippi State, Jessika Carter has been there forever.
Well, it's her 6th season, and when she made the decision to come back, you know what Sam Purcell did? The Tootsie Roll. You know what that is, a little dance action. And I would dance too. When you have your 6'5" center agree to come back to show how much she loves Starkville, Mississippi, and Mississippi State, it's a great piece to build around.
We need video of Sam Purcell doing the Tootsie Roll. Sandstorm in the house here at Colonial Life. And Mississippi State will hustle over to get the tip. JerKaila Jordan, #2 in that maroon jersey. And then Lauren Park Lane, the transfer point guard from Seton Hall, sets things up for the Bulldogs.
South Carolina in a man-to-man defense. It's going to be important for Mississippi State to take care of the basketball, not allow the Gamecocks to get out in transition.
Debrisha Poe back over to Aaron Barnum, who transferred in from Arkansas. 3 seconds from the free throw line. It's out, and a rebound by Raven Johnson. This is South Carolina's starting 5 this year. Maybe the biggest surprise in this starting lineup has been Chloe Kitts as she takes the shot and hits.
She earned her way. When she was an early enrollee last year, she didn't play very much. Very disappointed. She worked in the offseason and has found herself in the starting lineup.
Mississippi State has used 6 different starting lineups this year because they've had injuries in and out throughout the season. They're feeling pretty good right now, though, about the lineup they've got. Lauren Park Lane with the putback. One of the shortest players on the court getting the putback in the paint.
And against South Carolina, their size inside. You watch Chloe Kitts and how she operates from that high post. She's a great floor player, and she can find Kamilla Cardoso down low.
And Cardoso misses that shot, but the chemistry between Chloe Kitts and Cardoso has been so important this season, and they'll get a carrying call on Mississippi State. Well, Dawn Staley's team is one of 4 in the nation with 4 or more ranked wins. They are undefeated. They have put up 100 points 5 times already this season. That ties a program record.
I talked about the balance in scoring. Yes, it's always been about the post and the paint. But this season, South Carolina can shoot the 3 as well, and it's not just pow-pow. Raven Johnson, Bree Hall can shoot it as well.
Okay, I know you love the inside game.
I do.
Are you okay with the outside coming in?
Well, because they don't just fall in love with the three-point shot. There's a good decision-making of when to throw it in and when to shoot it up.
JerKaila Jordan swings it over to Poe. She'll get the screen from Aaron Barnum, and Debrisha Poe with the 3.
I like this sophomore. She was all SEC in her freshman season, but now she's that swing player. She can play the 3, and she's got the strength to play inside.
Lauren Park Lane, LPL special. Mississippi State, they told us, Sam Purcell said, we have got to score early.
Well, you got to defend, and if you can create offense off your defense, that's a good sign for Mississippi State.
Back inside to Cardoso, and she's going to be fouled by Carter.
The activity of Lauren Park Lane on Raven Johnson up the line defensively and takes it in for two. Mississippi State's going to need plenty of that to take care of business here in Columbia, South Carolina.
How important was it for Mississippi State to get Lauren Park Lane out of the portal?
Oh, it was huge. And a lot of people passed on Park Lane when she came out of high school because of her size, because she's small. But you cannot measure the heart that this young woman plays with. She is so competitive, and she's the balanced point guard because she can score it and she can dish it out.
She's 4 assists away from 800 for her career. Barnum top of the key.
See how intentional Mississippi State is with those passes. They want to be extra secure with the basketball.
Jessica Carter forced outside of the paint, and that was a problem on Thursday against Vanderbilt. She wasn't allowed inside. Didn't score after the first quarter.
Look at that connection between Cardoso and Kitts. Kitts not able to finish.
Lauren Park Lane feeding JerKaila Jordan, sneaking around Kamilla Cardoso.
Talked about the court vision that Park Lane has. I mean, she sees the floor as well as Raven Johnson does.
Bree Hall to the elbow. Kamilla Cardoso there on cleanup duty, banks it in.
That's just what's so tough to match up with. The size of Cardoso inside. You've got to box her out and sometimes sacrifice your own rebound to keep her off the glass.
6'7", hard to match up with?
Oh,
I think so. Mississippi State has hit 4 of its last 5 shots.
And Sam Purcell said he didn't want to let this get out of control, and he would call timeouts if he needed to. He hasn't so far.
Hasn't had to. They're up 1. They got to shoot, though. And again, Jessica Carter forced way outside the paint.
Look, and when you're playing South Carolina as the opposing coach, you got to really coach this game in segments, 5 minutes at a time.
All kinds of traffic on Cardoso. It's getting louder in CLA. Lauren Park Lane over the defense.
What is Sam Purcell doing? He said, if I got a lead, I'm going to milk the clock. You don't want this to be a high possession game. And he is really just taking his time on the offensive end.
Kitts working on Barnum. She'll kick back out to Te-Hina Pow.
JerKaila Jordan is all over Pow.
Raven Johnson going in, and she's fouled with 5 seconds on the shot clock. So free throws coming. When we come back, we go in depth with the newest starter in South Carolina's lineup. More on Chloe Kitts.
An early enrollee last year for South Carolina is in the starting lineup this year, and one of the reasons why is because she has a great sense of where to get the basketball. When Kamilla Cardoso rolls to the basket, Kitts can get it to her, and she can recognize where the defense is or where the defense is not. She recognizes that Raven Johnson was wide open against Duke and gave her the open 3. She has done a terrific job of the hard work she did over the summer to earn a starting spot.
Yeah, Don Staley told us today the reason that Chloe Kitts is in the starting lineup from the first game of the season is because she got here early. She realized what she needed to do, and she put the work in over the summer. And that 4 position for South Carolina, it's like another point guard on the floor. They run so much through it.
You have to have a strong post player at that 4 spot to create the opportunities for Kamilla Cardoso. Otherwise, teams are just going to double, triple team, really pack it in inside on number 10 and White.
So while Kitts gets a break, Ashlyn Watkins comes in to play the 4 for South Carolina.
Now, Watkins is a different kind of 4. She's more of a power and a defensive presence, man. She had 6 block shots against Florida.
Mississippi State, though, with an early lead. Darian Rogers putting up in their foul. What has State done to get out early on South Carolina?
They've been patient, and they've taken care of the basketball. They have really picked their poison opportunities. You had Park Lane that drove to the basket, got a little floater. You don't want to go too deep against the size of South Carolina, so they've taken good shots.
Darian Rogers at the free throw line gets the first. Sam Purcell, first of all, has one of the best energies in the SEC as a head coach. Got his team to the NCAA tournament in his first year, a Mississippi State record for wins as a first-year head coach. And they started that belief last year, and it's trickled over into this season.
I got to know Sam when he was at Louisville. And number one, when you went to Louisville and wanted a place to eat, Sam Purcell knew the restaurant to recommend to you. But he does such a great job of relationship building with his players. You can tell with how well he can talk to them, and they really get the message.
Sanaya Fagan is blocked down low by Quinera Montague.
Now, Montague, that is the future of Mississippi State right there. 6'5" body, long arms. She likes the physicality. She can do work inside.
Talking about 24 in maroon. Erin Barnum waiting for the
Look
defense to go by. There goes Montague, using all of her length.
I talked to Sam Purcell last night. I said, look, I'm on campaign. Montague needs a few more minutes. He said half a star from Mississippi's delivered the same message.
Yeah. Message received. Bree Hall pulling up, and that looks pretty.
Yeah, guards for South Carolina aren't going to have to get back what they've done all season. Look for their shots, not just pound the ball inside.
Yeah, this is a team that shoots on the year 51% from the field. 4 of their 5 starters shoot over 50%. Rogers, too much. Raven Johnson will push pace. Watkins coming down by herself.
See, this is what makes South Carolina so dangerous. Starting 5 not getting it done. Dawn Staley's got another whole crew she can go pick from to put in.
And Sam Purcell calls timeout. Ashlyn Watkins
running in transition. You see how well the offense is spread out. That leaves that lane available.
So timeout called. Mississippi State up by 1 on the road. Mississippi State takes the timeout. They'll have 11 seconds on the shot clock. JerKaila Jordan to inbound. Finds Barnum. And Jordan gets a layup.
Going to the right as well. Just turning that corner off that high ball screen. Let's see.
Watkins underneath, and she's pushed from behind by Erin Barnum.
It was a good timeout by Sam Purcell to draw up. He wanted JerKaila Jordan to come off this high ball screen, and then Carter to be posting up down low, really screened off the defense to give her that lane.
And Sam Purcell told us, if I have to use my timeouts, he likes to hold on to them. We need to get points out of them. And that's exactly what they did on that last timeout. Here's Ashlyn Watkins at the free throw line, gets the first. We mentioned it, this is a triple header. It rolls on with 2 more big games. Next we'll get to see Angel Reese, the defending national champion LSU, take on Ole Miss here on ESPN. Then capping the afternoon on E2, North Carolina, and number 16, Notre Dame in South Bend.
LSU leading the nation in scoring, averaging almost 95 points a game against one of the better defensive teams of Ole Miss. Ole Miss is holding teams to 52.4 points per game.
We mentioned Angel Reese, but Anissa Morrow, she's coming off 25 points on Thursday against Missouri.
Now, Kim Mulkey reloaded from last year's national championship team.
Tessa Johnson to the free throw line. She kind of goes under the radar as one of the freshmen for South Carolina.
Well, she's a scorer. McDonald's All-American. She won the three-point shooting contest, but she's a player, I think, that could fill that role of a Bree Beal as she picks up and continues to improve on the defensive side.
And how do you define that role for Bree Beal?
Oh, that's bully ball.
Yeah. Defense. but she's got a shot packed in her pocket. Bree Hall, watch out!
See, that three-point threat, that's something South Carolina hasn't had consistently until this season.
Now they average over 7 threes a game. That would be the most under Dawn Staley at South Carolina.
And Tess Johnson is known for a three-point shot, but she relied on this one, getting to the mid-range, just finding when that window opens at Bree Hall. This is a young woman who has been patient, waiting her time, and now has stepped into their starting role and done it with a bang.
Te-Hina Pow on the defense, her first shot of the game, and it's a layup. Timeout, Mississippi State, as South Carolina, 7 straight points in under a minute.
South Carolina got on a roll. First it was Tess Johnson, then it was Bree Hall. Now Te-Hina Pow gets into the game. Not just offense, but defense that leads to the easy two. Dawn Staley can turn this team up. When she feels it's getting a little slow or stagnant, she challenges them to pick it up on the defensive end.
And so with 1:08 on the clock, that was Te-Hina Pow's first shot of the game. Mississippi State had shut her down. This is a player who is calm and patient, and what an addition she has been transferring in from Oregon.
Well, she's a tremendous leader, and her experience that she had at Oregon really translated very well coming into South Carolina, and I like how she approached it. She didn't come in and try to take over, but she really just blended in with the veteran players that were already here.
South Carolina has hit its last 5 shots. Miracle Shepherd spinning around Kitts, finishing through contact. Pow up ahead to Johnson. And Chloe Kitts fouled inside to the free throw line. That's going to be on Montague.
I thought it was a little late call because I saw the contact on the first shot and got the rebound. Then the whistle didn't blow till she went into her action the second time. Watching Jessika Carter for Mississippi State, the 6-year player, encouraging Miracle Shepherd, who's a freshman, just wants her team to keep their composure when you're going against the #1 team in the country.
And Jessika Carter in her 6th season. And Chloe Kitts will take both of those free throws.
Mississippi State, very patient offensively. Ooh! Was almost a turnover by Shepherd.
9 seconds, Lauren Park Lane. And they get her for carrying. Second time that's been called against Mississippi State today.
Well, Park Lane can dance with the basketball and make some things happen. I think the officials may have scouted and known that at times she carries the ball.
8 seconds inside to Cardoso, working on Jessika Carter. And Cardoso drawing the foul. That'll be on Miracle Shepherd.
The decision-making of South Carolina, you know, there's no hesitation. They know when we need to go inside, they go inside. When they need to shoot it, they shoot it. And at times we've seen in teams in the past there was a question mark. And I don't see that question mark from this year's team.
One for 2 for Cardoso, 6 seconds left in the quarter. Park Lane. Short on the 3. Mississippi State had a 5-point lead here in the first quarter, but South Carolina, now they're up by 5, the #1 team in the nation. Caitlin Clark On the road to back-to-back National Player of the Year awards, she's chasing Kelsey Plum for the most career points. If she continues her season average, she can hit that around February 15th.
And she has seen all different kinds of defenses. She's played all different kinds of teams. What does she do after hitting that game winner against Michigan State? But play Rutgers and go out and get a triple-double.
No, naturally. What else would she do?
That's just another day in the life of Caitlin Clark.
Her usage rate is higher than any other player. They're using her about 40% of the time.
Well, she's got to do a little bit more. No more Monica Zanano.
Right.
So, but she has really embraced that role. She can distribute it when she needs to, but more times than not, when you can get a bucket, go get you a bucket.
Next time Iowa is in action with Caitlin Clark is on Wednesday against Purdue. This has been a close game. Mississippi State led by as many as 5 in the first quarter. And just looking at the first quarter box, Mississippi State outscored South Carolina in the paint. They only held the Gamecocks to 2 second-chance points. This is a South Carolina team that averages 17 second-chance points a game. Johnson to the rack.
But the other area at the end of that first quarter, rebounds were tied. So that's a victory. Sam Purcell has had to have celebrated that in that break between the first and second quarter.
Yeah, because South Carolina's the best rebounding team in the nation. Kids on the putback, and there's your second chance points.
Mississippi State, though, can't take care of the basketball, and exactly Sam Purcell said he sees his team come a little unraveled. He's going to call a timeout.
South Carolina, not phased, looking cool, calm, and collected here in the second quarter.
Rebecca, you talked about the fearlessness of Mississippi State, but the bounce back of South Carolina. Most teams, when they play South Carolina, they may bring their A game to start, but they're not able to hold on to it. In South Carolina, they just don't panic.
You heard Drea mention they're going to talk showstoppers. Is there a showstopper for South Carolina, or are they more balanced?
They're so balanced, but at any given game, there can be somebody put on a show. We have not even seen Malaysia Fulwiley come in the game, the freshman that put on a show that first game of the season against Notre Dame.
Yeah, she is a walking highlight reel. Points in the paint, by the way, even now, and it's been the South Carolina guards that have helped them catch up in that category. Mississippi State led that category coming out of the first quarter.
Well, the balance offensively of what South Carolina has the ability to do. You look at their averaging almost 91 points a game, 5th in the country, and they are stingy with points as well, only give up 51. It's a big difference this year and last year, and I think the biggest difference too is that three-point shooting.
Yes.
Yeah, you add Te-Hina Pau putting into the starting lineup, Bree Hall, Raven Johnson. Look at the increase, 10% points on their three-point shooting percentage and points per game. They're plus 10 there as well.
You know, Dawn Staley has talked about there were so many questions coming into this year because so many new faces in new roles. She's got a very young team, but what a pleasant surprise that has been.
Well, and she's had to teach habits, winning habits, how to practice, where each other going to play off those strengths. And that's what you go through in the non-conference. Now that conference season has really arrived, seems like things are starting to fall into place.
Cardoso with the putback. And South Carolina well tested in the non-conference. They faced 4 ranked teams, beat all of them.
Yeah, Don's not afraid to have a challenging schedule. When you've got the talent on your roster, it doesn't do you any good unless you play competition.
It's going to stay with Mississippi State. UConn is the only other team to have more ranked wins. They have 5 ranked wins, but also a trio of losses for the UConn Huskies.
Well, they also had to go through with some injuries, readjustments. You know, not having AZ Fudd this season was a big disappointment, but things are starting to come together, and Paige Beckers is back, if not better than the Paige Beckers before her injuries.
And that's terrifying.
That is.
JerKaila Jordan trying to break down Raven Johnson. Gets the shot off, but too much. It will stay with State.
Jordan is a player that Mississippi State really needs to get going. She only has 7 points so far, 3 of 5 from the floor.
Sam Purcell really challenged her in the offseason. She had a great February last year, propelled them into the NCAA tournament, but he said you can't just be Miss February, you got to be Miss November, December, January.
He wants her all over the calendar.
I don't blame him. The kick out to Rogers. Carter on the block. And Jessica Carter is fouled by Chloe Kitts. That'll be the first on Kitts. Jessica Carter to the free throw line. This is the first one. Well, this week's Super Tuesday doubleheader starts with Antonio Reeves and number 6 Kentucky hosting Missouri at 7 Eastern. Then a battle of the big men. Kyle Filipowski, number 14 Duke, taking on Blake Hinson and Pitt. Both games right here on ESPN and the app. Don't forget our triple header continues after this game. LSU and Ole Miss coming up on deck here on ESPN. Debrisha Pope, the long two. Rebound by Pow Pow.
I don't know if Mississippi State wants to get into quick shot offense and letting this get into an up and down game.
Chloe Kitts, no. Ashlyn Watkins with the offensive board, but throws it away. Those are the type of plays that Miracle Shepherd makes all game. She sneaks in, does the dirty work.
She brings high intensity on the defensive end, and she's a player that never gives up on a play. If there's a loose basketball, Shepherd's going after it.
The first high school signee for Sam Purcell at Mississippi State. So he said, you know, she holds a special place in my heart.
She should. When you're new, taking over a program, the first player that commits to you, and especially at the talent level of Miracle Shepherd, you got to be excited about that.
10 seconds for the Gamecocks. Te-Hina, pow pow! 5 points for Pow Pow.
Well, we talked so much about her three-point shooting. She hadn't had an opportunity to show it off until now.
Did not take her first shot in this game until 1:08 left in the first quarter. Mississippi State really keyed on her, and for good reason. Malaysia Fulwiley, one-handed, missed.
Mississippi State has got to be patient. And Sam Purcell said, you got to get good shots, because he doesn't really think his team would get second opportunities. So when they get those, you got to make them pay.
Carter does get that second opportunity. She'll go to the free throw line.
So Te-Hina Pow Pow from the three, off the ball screen. You can't go under the screens. You've got to be there, because if she can see it, she can light it up.
Second in the nation in three-point percentage is Pow Pow. That foul was on Malaysia Fulwiley of South Carolina, her first. I want to go back to what you said. Mississippi State has to be patient. What does that look like? Deeper into the shot clock?
Well, you just have to. It doesn't necessarily mean you got to go deep into the shot clock, but you want to be patient to find good shots. If that good shot comes early, go ahead and take it. Don't pass it up and then try to get later. But if it's not there, you're better off to get a shot clock violation than take a bad shot and let South Carolina get out and run.
And Cardoso throws it away, looking for Ashlyn Watkins.
And she said sorry on that one. And Dawn Staley looked at Cardoso and said, shoot it. She has the green light to pull the trigger from that elbow.
It wasn't as bad as that. I can't remember who it was in the NBA a couple nights ago that just sailed a pass.
Mississippi State trying to get an overload so they can get an isolation of Jessika Carter inside.
State hasn't scored in over 3 minutes. Three seconds.
Only 2 seconds on the shot clock. And Courtney, Mississippi State only has 1 timeout left for the game. In the first half.
Yes, in the first half.
For one of the first half. So he's called them early like he told us that he would. There's that isolation lob to Jessika Carter. Points in the paint have been where Mississippi State has been able to find gold.
Back to Watkins. Cardoso waiting on the other side.
It's painful for these South Carolina fans sitting behind us when they're not able to finish with those putbacks.
Some good looks right at the basket. Now a 2-minute scoring drought for South Carolina. And JerKaila Jordan, Mississippi State needed that.
Sam Purcell, Dap, Park Lane, a little 5 on the side. That's what that play's supposed to look like.
The takeaway, Jordan by herself. Back to back for JerKaila Jordan. A 7-0 run for State. Fulwiley. Too much. South Carolina hasn't scored in 3 minutes.
Well, and this was a problem in the Florida game. When Dawn Staley went to her bench, they would go and get a little stagnant with their offense.
That's going to be a South Carolina ball. The foul is going to be called on Miracle Shepherd, her second.
JerKaila Jordan is keeping Mississippi State in this one. Attacking the basket, then finding the mid-range. She's got to hunt buckets anytime possible. And if you can lead from your defense to offense, that's even better. I've been watching Lauren Park Lane while she's been on the bench with Sam Purcell. Those two have constant communication going on during the game.
And that ends the 3+ minute scoring drought and a 7-0 run for Mississippi State as Raven Johnson hits.
Dawn Staley wanted Shepherd called for the carry there as well.
Jordan turns it over. Pow does not have help. She'll pull up, turn around, and shoot.
Woo! Watkins got up.
Bree Hall, the pass from Cardoso.
Okay, but can you watch Ashlyn Watkins? Even if she doesn't get the rebound, she's getting off the floor every time, making an attempt for those rebounds. She's just quick and got a terrific vertical.
And Dawn Staley mentioned to us the motor has clicked on for Ashlyn Watkins. She said it was questionable early on, but it's there now.
That was Debrisha Poe with the jumper there. Mississippi State keeps hanging around.
They got the takeaway. Pow did a great job of slowing that down.
But Jordan's got to be more patient. If it's not a easy, just dominant layup, you got to go off 2 feet or you've got to pull it out and wait for your team to get down the floor.
90 seconds to go in the half. Ashlyn Watkins fouled going to the hoop, and that's on Jessika Carter.
Watch, Pow runs it down, and really Jordan doesn't have the advantage. And Pow, without even turning around, just 2 hands up to defend and break up that transition.
Jessika Carter takes a seat with her second foul.
You know what we haven't talked about? Mississippi State and Yabba Dabba.
The Yabba Dabba plays. energy, effort, toughness plays. It's what Sam Purcell said he needed, like Fred Flintstone driving his car at 100 miles an hour with no shoes on.
And he said you're going to hear a lot of yabba dabba today, especially when you take a charge. You get that offensive putback. You break up transition. So that's what his team needs to see more consistently in order to keep them in striking distance against South Carolina. I love me some Fred Flintstone. Yabba dabba do.
Poe. Back to Mississippi State. And Lauren Park Lane stepped out of bounds. South Carolina ball. Mississippi State came out, they had a 5-point lead in the second quarter, but South Carolina, no panic, went to their bench as they can. Whole new setup, whole new lineup, and that settled things down for Dawn Staley's crew.
Dawn has the versatility of scoring inside and out, but one of the areas that has kept Mississippi State in the game is their ability to manufacture paint points against the size of South Carolina, and they've gotten on the glass.
Well, Te-Hina Paopao, we've mentioned how that calm presence that she brings. She also brings a family atmosphere to South Carolina. Her family so important to her, and they've actually moved here to Columbia.
Well, the Samoan culture, when Te-Hina Paopao first made the decision to go to Oregon, then her brothers went with her. And so to be able to support her there, and then they came here to Columbia, South Carolina. They're so close that her sister even named her child Baby Te-Hina. You see the closeness there. And when she came back after summer break, she brought each of the staff, the players, and the trainers kukuis. They're like leis. They were garnet and black, and they resemble that spirit of respect and unity, team, family unity. It's usually something that's given at weddings or graduations, but that unity is what she felt like she was getting here in Columbia.
But she has brought that unity to the floor for South Carolina as she hits from the free throw line.
Yeah, Paopao, just a great addition, great spirit to be around. Seems like this child is always happy.
Yes, and a great compliment to Raven Johnson, the other point guard for South Carolina.
Oh yeah, those are two great sparks. They're kind of like fire and ice.
Yeah,
you know, a little spicy from Raven Johnson.
Raven would be the fire.
Yeah, most definitely. And the ice would be Te-Hina Paopao.
Oh, Natasha Campbell better be careful over there. She got the ball right back to the official.
With those long limbs and Bree Hall, you got to watch out. Now Mississippi State could go a quick 2-for-1 right now.
Jordan turned into the double team. Barnum gives up the shot. Driving, bounces around and out. Cardoso using her length to corral it. And that's going to be Mississippi State ball. 16.2 on the clock.
That was a big mistake by South Carolina. With only 18 seconds that were on the clock, they should have pulled that basketball out and held that possession to take the last shot.
So now Mississippi State can be the one to take the last shot, down 10. South Carolina shooting 50% from the field, right along their season average. 3 seconds. And South Carolina's defense doesn't allow them to get a good shot off. The Gamecocks, undefeated, they're seeking their 49th straight home victory. They are up 10 at the half against Mississippi State. Let's get you to Drea in the studio. Welcome back to the SEC on ESPN. The #1 team in the nation, the South Carolina Gamecocks, up 10 as we get set for the start of the third quarter here in Columbia. Second SEC game of the season for both of these teams. Courtney Lau and Carolyn Peck back with you. And South Carolina, look, It took them a minute to get going. Mississippi State had a 5-point lead, but then that balance really paid off.
Well, you have 7 different players that have made a field goal. They have 4 players that average double figures on the season. So Dawn Staley doesn't have to rely on just 1, 2, or even 3 players to score baskets. She's got a number of different options she can go to.
And we saw her do that when the starters weren't getting it done. She just put in her bench, and there's a ton of talent there, too. It's helped them get this 10-point lead at the half. Take a look at some of the numbers. JerKaila Jordan was the one that was willing Mississippi State to stay in this game. 11 points in the first half. Cardoso leading South Carolina with 9 points. As you mentioned, 7 players with at least a bucket for South Carolina.
Yeah, for Mississippi State, Jessika Carter really needs to get going. And I would look for Sam Purcell to even go with a big lineup with Carter, Montague, and Debrisha Poe going all on the floor at the same time and use their size against South Carolina's length.
Both teams shot the ball pretty well in the first half. South Carolina shooting 50% from the field. There's Jessika Carter near the lane.
And anytime that Mississippi State can get Chloe Kitt switched on to Jessika Carter, they need to go to her inside.
Pow kicking out to Raven Johnson. Short in the corner, but Kitt's by herself waiting, can't finish. Cardoso can.
But what I have not seen in this game from either team is a really deliberate box out. And both teams have been able to take advantage getting to the offensive glass. Whoever buckles down to keep their opponent off the bench could make this a ball game.
And Mississippi State 8 offensive rebounds, South Carolina 10. Lauren Park Lane will pull it out, and there's a foul away from the ball. That's on Chloe Kitts, her second.
I would run some post-to-post screen action. Barnum to Jessika Carter and get Cardoso switched off of Carter, and then you can go to your 6'5" center.
There's Carter, but she's matched up on Cardoso, and that's just tough to get around 6'7".
Yeah, you got to move her around. She's trying to go over 6'7", move her in a position where either she doesn't have to go against her or she can go around her.
Hall to the free throw line. Nine points for Hall.
Now Barnum used to shoot the 3 when she played at Arkansas. She looked a little hesitant pulling the trigger.
That's the second time that she's hesitated to take that 3. This time, no hesitation, steps into it. It bounces off the back of the iron.
Look, you couldn't hesitate for Mike Neighbors at Arkansas from 3. If you're going to shoot it, shoot it.
Chloe Kitts using that 15 pounds of extra muscle she added in the offseason.
You may look at her stature and say, oh, is she skinny? But Chloe Kitt says she's skinny strong.
That's right. Spent a lot of time with Molly Benetti in the weight room over the summer, their strength coach, and she gets the steal. Pow by herself off to the left, but the offensive board by Cardoso.
You watch, as soon as South Carolina's players on the perimeter catch it, their first eye is to go right there inside.
Stolen back away by Raven Johnson. They'll swing it over to Poe. She takes the 3.
That's a good shot, but nobody there for a rebound.
And Mississippi State struggled behind the arc, 1 for 9 from 3 today.
Park Lane really hasn't looked for her 3. Number 3 in maroon.
Kitt's elbow.
See, no box out. If you don't box out Cardoso, she's gonna get you every time.
Lauren Park Lane, that ends a 3-minute scoring drought for Mississippi State.
Park Lane Number 3 for Mississippi State. She needs to really get going. Look for a shot. We've talked about how well she can distribute the basketball, but she's a scorer. She's hit 10 threes in a game this season, so she can light it up.
Yeah, that was against Colorado State. That was a Mississippi State record, 33 points in that game. Kitts looking inside, back. She gets it back from Cardoso.
She got away with some steps.
No, she did not.
Okay.
Travel.
Yeah, that was a travel. I know Kitts disagrees, but she got an extra step. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, yeah, that's a travel.
It's a Vanderbilt math right there.
Thank you. How about Vanderbilt? They won their first SEC game against Mississippi State.
Yeah, they're healthy this year.
They are. They have Jordan Cambridge back, Ayanna Moore.
Ayanna Moore.
Woo! You like her?
I do.
They also have Justine Passat, transfer from Tennessee. That's a three-point threat as well. I mean, the Commodores, they can shoot it. They defend. Shea Ralph mixes up, throws in a little trickeration defensively.
Oh, there it is. It was only a matter of time before you got that word in.
It's one
I'm
of my
not even
favorite.
sure if it's a word.
It is now.
Okay. Look at the ball movement for South Carolina. Oh, the block from Montague. Bree Hall is short, but another offensive rebound. And Ashlyn Watkins in one. They don't quit.
South Carolina is built on rebounds. If you don't put a body on somebody to box out, they're going to make you pay every time, especially when Ashlyn Watkins is on the floor.
And that's the third foul on Jessika Carter. Ashlyn Watkins, one of a trio of players that decided they were going to stay for the first summer session. Got in the gym, got in extra work. Raven Johnson and Chloe Kitts being the other two. And Dawn Staley said the next 3 months are going to be big for her growth.
Look, that's the future of South Carolina basketball, those three. Raven Johnson, Chloe Kitts, and Ashlyn Watkins. So for them to put in that kind of work early in their career can cause success in this program to live on.
Kitts inside. Pow on the assist. And keep in mind, in this lineup for South Carolina, you've really got 2 point guards out there with Te-Hina Pow and Raven Johnson. And Pow, of course, being a great scoring threat. But Chloe Kitts has 12 to lead Carolina.
This may be her first full season with the South Carolina Gamecocks, but she has made her presence felt strong inside. Chloe Kitts leads all scores for South Carolina. She's done it in a number of different ways. She's been the release valve when the ball has gone inside to Kamilla Cardoso. She has been there on the offensive glass with the putback and then posting up, getting it done down low. Look, this second-year player for South Carolina has really demonstrated how she's put work into her game and made it playoff this season.
And look at her field goal percentage, 50% from the field. The last 2 games, she was only shooting 20% from the field.
Efficiency.
This is better.
Much.
You know, Chloe Kitts.
Okay, but wait. Before we go back to Chloe, Dawn Staley is never happy.
Only when she's winning a championship.
When she's looking at a stat sheet, her forehead always wrinkled. She's always looking at areas where they can improve.
That's a coach.
Look, okay, that's a little better. A little better. Look up, see? The wrinkle comes back in. Look.
She's got it. But we were talking to her before the game. She's got a young team.
Yeah.
So there's good, and then there's also youth that shows up.
And we asked her about comparing to other teams, and she's slow to do that because she said they're different teams. They got different skill sets. They have different strengths. I mean, the freshies last season, they were experienced. This team, this group, they're relatively young.
Montague fouled on the way up. Well, it's no secret that Dawn Staley has totally turned around South Carolina. 12 straight 21 seasons. They've made 5 of the last 8 Final Fours and, of course, 2 national championships.
I played in the SEC back when you played under by candlelight. But
you played by cattle in a field.
No. It was candlelit with peach baskets. But there were not even a handful of the amount of people that are here today. We talked about when you look up in the very top, this place has people that have bought tickets and sit up there to watch this team play.
Well, they have been first in the nation in attendance the last 9 seasons.
I talked to a gentleman in the hotel yesterday, and he said, Dawn Staley talked to the president of the university, and the president said Dawn Staley is the most popular person in South Carolina.
I believe it.
And this gentleman did not disagree either.
Yeah. The foul's going to be on the floor on Cardoso. Whistled against Montague. Hey, South Carolina basketball right now, 26-1 if you combine the men's and women's teams after the men beat Mississippi State yesterday.
The fans here in Columbia really excited about that. I think they were shocked over that win against Mississippi State.
Three seconds. Raven Johnson has to put it up. Rebound by Carter. Lauren Park Lane, the heave up ahead to JerKaila Jordan, and the transition bucket for the Bulldogs.
That's how Mississippi State can get back into this game. Force tough shots and then rebound it and run before South Carolina can get their defense set.
Transition too much. There's Miracle Shepherd flying.
Sam Purcell is not one that is going to be able to just say, look, it's over. This team is going to continue to compete. I think Mississippi State has another run in them.
We've got a ton of time in this game, but South Carolina is so patient. Does not get rattled.
But how do you get back into a game against South Carolina, force outside shots, and you've got to box out? You cannot allow second chance opportunities and then execute on the offensive end.
That was a good take by Lauren Park Lane. South Carolina hasn't scored in 2.5 minutes. Breezy!
Now, I said make them take tough shots.
That was wide open.
Yeah, cannot leave Bree Hall wide open. Mississippi State needs to get more from Lauren Park Lane. Not only attacking to the basket, did she flex after that? But also defensively, they've got to cover the shooters. Who would have thought we would ever be saying that about South Carolina? But you got to cover their three-point shooters. Bree Hall knocking that down.
You got to say it this year. South Carolina second in the nation in three-point percentage as a team. Carter gets a shot off. Rebound by Watkins.
Watkins just snatches the ball out of the air. Better box out there. Now Rogers.
JerKaila Jordan drops back. A little bit short. Here comes Pow Pow.
Now the biggest thing, you got to get to the shooters. Got to cover Bree Hall. Don't let her go back to back.
5th time this season she's hit 3 or more three-pointers. 15 points for Bree Hall to lead South Carolina.
She's always been known as a defender, the ability to drive to the basket, but now added that three-point shot. She is the complete package, number 23 in white.
And a great example of trusting the process in her junior year, her biggest role yet. She was patient in her development.
That's key. Now in today's day and age with the transfer portal, everybody wants to bail out, not Bree Hall.
Ashlyn Watkins with the bucket. Sam Purcell wanted a 3-second call. Mississippi State can take the last shot of the 3rd quarter.
They could use a high screen for Park Lane. Because she can either drive it or she can step behind it and hit the 3.
She's going to throw it up to Carter. Still time for Shepard. Swatted away by Cardoso. South Carolina up 62-46, and Bree Hall got her shot.
It is balanced, a balanced attack, a triple threat. Bree Hall from 3. She got 15 points on the night. Things going well for the Gamecocks.
It's all decided tomorrow, 7:30 here on ESPN, the national championship, Michigan and Washington. All right, who you got, Peck?
Well, you have to go with the offense of Michigan. Well, and my husband is a Michigan State fan, so if I said Michigan, I might not could
You
go
just
home.
said the offense of Michigan. You mean
the
Washington.
offense of Washington.
She doesn't even know.
Offense of Washington.
I'm going Washington as well. Look, Michael Penix Jr. has been so much fun to watch. He is the first player to have back-to-back 4,500 passing yard seasons since Patrick Mahomes did it in 2015, 2016. Also, fun fact.
Fun fact.
Do you know who his first career start was against when he played in Indiana?
Say it.
Michigan.
Ooh.
And he threw 3 touchdowns, threw 342 yards, and they won.
Well, look, I think there was a lot of discussion, too, that Michael Penix Jr. could have been the Heisman Trophy winner.
Yeah.
He put on a show this season. Their offense, he can thread it. I mean, just put it on a rope.
Well, that's tomorrow night, 7:30. South Carolina has extended this lead here in the second half, and Kamilla Cardoso hitting from the free throw line.
We've talked about every player and their growth for South Carolina. Cardoso, huge.
Yes.
She was the SEC Sixth Woman of the Year coming off the bench last season, now in a starting role, and she has really developed a dominating mentality on both sides of the floor.
Does that necessarily happen as Raven Johnson goes corner pocket if she doesn't get to play with Aaliyah Boston, behind Aaliyah Boston, and learn from her?
I think it definitely helped.
Yeah.
In playing with and against in practice every day and seeing the work habit and that work on your mental game that Aaliyah Boston did.
Of course, Aaliyah Boston, the former player of the year, the WNBA Rookie of the Year this season.
And she still has a hand in the success of what this team's doing. Bree Hall has talked about it. Te-Hina has talked about how these players get on the phone and stay in contact with Aaliyah Boston.
Timeout called. South Carolina on a 15-2 run. Well, Thursday night on the SEC Network, there's another great women's basketball matchup. Aaliyah Matharu leading Florida into Knoxville to take on Tennessee. Also available on the app. Tennessee was down early today to Kentucky, but ended up winning big, 87-69 at home.
That's 2 SEC games in a row that Tennessee has had to come from behind because they were trailing Auburn on Thursday, but were able to pull off the victory.
Yeah, Tennessee led by Rakia Jackson, 27 points. Right now, they are outside of Charlie Cream's projection to get into the NCAA tournament field, but a lot of ground can be made up in the SEC. We saw Tennessee do that last year, especially with Rakia Jackson back.
That definitely helps. The addition of transfer Jewel Spear coming in. She hit some big threes today. Jasmine Powell. Caroline Strickland has expanded her game, not only being the muscle inside in the paint, but she's extended her range to add to what Sarah Puckett has brought.
Watching this South Carolina team, obviously the #1 team in the nation, who in the SEC is their biggest threat right now?
Oh, you got to talk about LSU.
Oh, yeah.
Come on now.
You're going to see them next right after we're done here in Columbia.
And Angel Reese brings what Angel Reese does, which is a walk-in double-double. But Anissa Morrow, Flau'jae Johnson, I mean, you have the addition, transfer, Haley Van Lith running the point.
What about Michaela Williams, too? I know you're big on her.
Oh, my gosh,
yeah.
that freshman. Let me tell you, the freshmen across the country give me great confidence that the talent level of college women's basketball just going to continue to be on the rise.
Juju Watkins at USC.
Yep. A freshman that's at the free throw line now, Malaysia Fulwiley, has been kind of quiet. Normally, she's a highlight waiting to happen.
Well, she has only played 6 minutes in this game. We've seen her minutes fluctuate as the season goes on. Was the #13 recruit in this class. Over 3,000 points in high school. She is a Columbia, South Carolina native.
That middle bullet point in the 7th grade.
In the 7th grade.
Playing varsity high school basketball.
Let's go.
Mississippi State just has not been able to, on a regular, manufacture enough points. But I think in the Sam Purcell way, as this team continues throughout the season, they're going to continue to develop, find the right combinations that work against different kinds of defenses. I love the passion that Sam coaches with. He's into it for 40 straight minutes.
It's Aaron Barnum at the free throw line. And the talent is definitely here for Mississippi State. They've had the player of the week in the SEC the last 3 weeks. Darian Rogers was the most recent because she had a triple-double against Mississippi Valley.
And just putting the pieces together.
Oh, Te-Hina pow.
She just makes, her three-point shot is so pure. She makes it look so easy.
6 3-pointers today for South Carolina, shooting 54% from behind the arc. Malaysia Fulwiley up to Raven Johnson. And there's a foul on the floor.
I think Raven Johnson overpassed in transition.
She should have taken it to the basket.
Yeah, she should have gone ahead and shot that layup. A little too unselfish. Fulwiley gives it up. And Johnson has the step on Park Lane. Made that extra pass, made it more difficult than it needed to be.
Foul was whistled on Jasmine Brown-Hager of Mississippi State, her second. State ball.
State changed up, went to a 2-3 zone with that underneath out of bounds. Might be something they go to in this fourth quarter just to change up the rhythm of South Carolina.
Don't forget, you'll see the defending national champions coming up next, LSU and Ole Miss here on ESPN when we're done in Columbia.
Thursday night, the Dress Like Kim night.
Oh, for the win. For the win.
Even Christy Tomascotty and Eric Reed put on the jacket. Dressed like Kim Mulkey.
The fans really got, if you haven't seen that, it's on their social media. Fantastic. You know, Raven Johnson will take a seat. JerKaila Jordan at the free throw line for Mississippi State. There are a lot of questions around LSU right off the start of the season when they lost their first game, but 14 straight wins since that opening game loss. Angel Reese, 41 double-double since the start of last season. and then Anissa Morrow. Remember, they're putting these pieces together. They got a lot of new faces on the roster.
They do, and in key positions. When you lose a player like Alexis Morris at your point, that's not just a quick fix. You have to adjust to who's running the floor, who's getting the ball in the right place. It just took a little bit of time, but things seems to be falling into place for LSU now. And rebounding, you got to keep Angel Reese and Anissa Morrow off the glass.
Easier said than done.
Yeah, just double doubles, both those two. Most of the time you're looking for a highlight from Fulwiley on the offensive end, but check out this block. She caught Lauren Park Lane from behind.
Oh, Carter had a clear path to the basket, but just couldn't corral it. Almost had herself a highlight reel.
I would mark that one. I mean, she comes off the ball screen, then the reverse spin to split the defenders, attracts two. Kamilla Cardoso's got to always have her hands ready when Malaysia Fulwiley has the basketball.
Cardoso misses them both.
Yeah, when you look at South Carolina getting back to the Final Four, is that a possibility? I think a real high one. Because when you look at who's going to match with them across the board with the size of a Kamilla Cardoso inside the post rotation, guard rotation, I think UCLA is one of those teams
I was going to say
that can compete.
UCLA, one of the undefeateds remaining. One of the top teams in the nation.
Yeah, you've got
Fulwiley and one.
the speed that she has to get around Montague, just constantly running, keeping the pressure on the defense. Fulwiley racks up two.
And you see, too, later in this game, Dawn is letting her play through some mistakes.
Well, that's how you learn.
Yeah.
That's how you learn. You can't, as a coach, you can't put a young player in and they make one mistake. As long as it's made, the mistake is made with hustle. Now, if it's effort, you get to come out and sit down.
Right.
But if you make that mistake playing with effort, both coaches will let you play through that.
Mississippi State only 6 points here in the fourth quarter.
Lanier Montague played guard in high school. That's 6'5" out on the perimeter, number 24 in maroon.
And Fagan traveled. You're 6'4". Did you play guard in high school?
Well, I ran from top of the key to top of the key. I wasn't the point guard.
What position is that?
Mine. I was the, high post. I'm supposed to reverse it, but if it came to me, more times than not, it was going up. And I'd hear the coach going, no, no, no. And then if I shot it and it went in, then he'd go, yes. If it didn't go in, I would hear the horn blow because I was coming to sit down next to him.
You did it well, though, because it got you to Vanderbilt. Malaysia Fulwiley, just like Carolyn Peck, right?
now. Full speed all the time. All show and go. Fulwiley, we got it, even though it ended up being a turnover with the spin and the dish, the idea was right. But she's playing with effort, high speed, and that allows her more minutes from Dawn Staley.
It's up, Drea, averaging more points than anyone in the nation, almost 95 points per game.
But Ole Miss has 6 people defending at all times defensively, the 5 on the floor, and Coach Yo on the sideline.
I was going to say, they cannot have 6 people.
See, I knew where to get your mind thinking.
That's definitely true, though. Coach Yo's always playing every possession.
She'll have a defensive plan, and the biggest thing is you got to slow down LSU by not turning the ball over. They can take care of the basketball.
I would say, too, Kim Mulkey plays every possession.
Oh, yeah. I just wonder how her knees, because she squats all the time, too, and pops up. I'm going to tell you, both those coaches get a full workout in for 40 minutes.
There's Montague. You said at the beginning of the game, she's got to get more minutes for Mississippi State. She can really help them this season.
She's got great hands. Uh-oh. Fulwiley's bringing the energy. But Montague, I think she can be a go-to force for the Bulldogs.
Bree Hall short. Jaw trying for the putback, and then off of Bree Hall's hands.
I tell you, Bree Hall coming down on the left side, textbook, take the easy, a left-handed layup. Tried to make it a little bit too fancy. Using the inside hand, I understand that, but there's no defense there. Stick with the fundamentals.
Sakima Walker is going to check in for South Carolina for the first time. 20 bench points for the Gamecocks today. They were first in the nation in that category last year. They averaged 34 points off the bench this year.
Mississippi State getting second chances.
They're 1 for 10, though, for their last field goals. Jaw coast to coast. Sanaya Jaw.
South Carolina and Dawn Staley have, I think, the complete team. Because of the depth that they have, you talked about the bench points. Defensively, that's always going to be a must and demanded, a standard. And now the balance offensively of the different ways they can score make them a very tough team to deal with.
Well, we talked a little bit about LSU, South Carolina playing them on January 25th as Jordan hits. Their next ranked opponent, only 2 ranked opponents left for South Carolina. That's LSU and then UConn.
Right, February 11th. So
how does that match up for South Carolina?
You know, the thing that UConn can do, number one, they're going to bring defense. That's the thing that Gina Ariema, and they try to make you play fast. I think that UConn will also challenge to see if South Carolina can consistently shoot it from the 3. And it's going to be a fast-paced game.
Yeah.
Both teams are going to get up and down. Who's going to guard Paige Beckers?
Count the bucket for Lauren Park Lane. Well, our women's college basketball triple header rolling on. Don't forget, coming up next, LSU and Angel Reese taking on Ole Miss here on ESPN at the top of the hour. Then we'll cap the afternoon over on ESPN2, North Carolina and Notre Dame in South Bend. Hannah Hidalgo having to carry a big load for Notre Dame.
Definitely, but she's getting some help from Maddie Westbell. But it's going to be a nice matchup, too, when you look at having Alyssa Utsby. She's leading the team at a forward position in rebounds and assists.
Just had a triple-double?
She brings the energy on the floor. She's the leader on that team. Her and Deja Kelly, I think, make North Carolina one of those teams you got to watch out for.
Malaysia Fulwiley back at the free throw line. South Carolina has hit 72% from the charity stripe today.
That's a good sign. That's been an area that's always been a little bit of a question mark too for South Carolina, is the consistency from the charity stripe.
They shoot 65% from the free throw line on the season, so much better today. 75% now after Malaysia Fulwiley. I just put her two names together.
Compound word. Miracle Shepherd's she ain't gonna quit.
Yeah, this is a Mississippi State team. Have not seen them quit this entire game. Sam Purcell has a team of dogs, as he calls them. They've been playing hard for 40 minutes.
Well, you look at what they did last season. You talked about February, played into March, played themselves into the NCAA play-in game in the tournament. Park Lane talked about making the decision to come from Seton Hall to Mississippi State to play in the SEC. She wants to try to take this team deep in the tournament. She said even an opportunity to play for a Final Four. She believes in Stark Vegas.
Mississippi State's played in 2 Final Fours. Both of those coming under Vic Schaefer, who's now the head coach at Texas. Knocking down the three, Jasmine Brown-Hager. Mississippi State came out swinging. They led by 5 in the first quarter. But South Carolina, no panic. A young team, but at times they look like veterans. They don't let a lot faze them.
Well, Mississippi State started out this game battling points in the paint, but then South Carolina was able to even the score, allowed South Carolina to get on the glass and really finding it hard to decide on who to stop because of their balanced scoring.
They've stopped the clock with 2.2. The handshakes had already continued.
The clock went out. There's the shot clock's back. Dawn and Sam, they just go stand at half court and visit through these last 2.2 seconds.
They had to get back in their coach's box. Now it's official. 49 straight home wins for Dawn Staley and South Carolina.
And they did it with a balanced attack, with versatility of the way that they can score, and then getting on the glass once again. That's what South Carolina does. 10
different players scored, 4 in double figures. We will talk to Te-Hina Pow in just moments, but for now, let's get you to Drea in the studio. South Carolina victorious again today. Well, thanks so much, Drea. We're joined by Te-Hina Pow. You guys come out 2-0 in the SEC, still undefeated. What's been the best thing about playing with this group this year?
Man, it's been so much fun. They play fast. We play together, and like I said, we play fast and play with pace.
You made the decision to come to South Carolina. You come from a strong family gathering culture. I saw where you had given them, is it called a kukui?
Kukui nuts, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, why was that important for you to share as you joined the South Carolina team?
It was just a different time, this time around. I felt so loved by them, so blessed to be able to play with them, and so grateful for the coaching staff and the team to accept me, and it was just a gift for them.
How do you feel like your game has grown since you got to South Carolina?
I feel like it's grown a lot. As you can see, I play on both sides of the court instead of one.
Yeah.
So it's been a great pleasure and great blessing to be able to play with the Gamecocks.
Awesome. So let's talk about today. I mean, Mississippi State came out and they really keyed on you. So how did you stay patient and were able to get your shots off eventually and get 12 points?
Yeah, just let the game come to me.
Yeah.
The post players had a great game today, finishing around the basket, and they were finding me, and my teammates were finding me. So I just had to keep playing with the pace and just find my shot.
Well, let's take a look at how you played today. Look at some Te-Hina Pow highlights.
12 points today, 5 of 9 from the field. Are you most proud? You talked about the defense playing on both sides. How about the steal and the score?
Yeah, that was very fun. My coach says I'm really bad at block defense, so I just had to prove him that I could definitely play block defense.
How much does it go into? You have such confidence as a three-point shooter. We saw there where you came off a ball screen, you recognized the opponents go behind the screen. Like, when you know when you can pull the trigger or when you need to run the offense?
They just keep going under. So when they keep going under, just keep shooting that thing, and when they go over, keep shooting. So my teammates trust me, coach trusts me that I will knock down the shot.
Is there extra pressure playing for Dawn Staley?
Not at all.
Yeah.
No, it's fun. It's fun. So much trust instilled in me, and I have trust in her and the team. So it's been a really fun journey, and we just got to keep it rolling.
Awesome. Te-Hina, congratulations, undefeated, and the home winning streak continues for South Carolina after a win over Mississippi State today.